This is the plaintiff, Brenda Foster. She says the defendant, her roommate, was taking a check she gave her to pay their landlord and depositing them in her own account instead. Thank God they don't live together anymore. Bottom line, the landlord still owed money, so she's suing her dishonest former roommate for the $2,250 she's owed. This is the defendant, Jessie. She says the crazy plaintiff would constantly harass her, call her names, and text her nasty things on a daily basis. She moved out, thank goodness, and can't believe the plaintiff is accusing her of stealing the rent money. What a joke. She's accused of being sneaky.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Brenda Foster.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
are suing Jessie. You've asked us to refer to you only by your first name, right? Jessie, for $2,250, 3 months rent that you say you gave to Jessie and Jessie did not give the landlord. Okay, you were subletting from Jessie?
Yes, I was.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Okay, I moved in on December the 11th, and we were living there for 6 months. We stayed
Who's
there.
we?
My girlfriend and myself.
Okay.
Okay,
And
now.
what, was it a two-bedroom, a one?
Yeah, it was a 2-bedroom apartment, and
Okay.
we shared 1 bedroom. She had the other bedroom
And
apartment.
did you know each other before this or no?
Well, they were friends, and that's how I came to move in, because
Okay.
she had asked her, well, why don't you tell her, Benji, to move in, Brenda to move in with me, because this way the rent, she'll pay $600, everything included, and it'll help you guys save up money. So when you move out or whatever the case, which I thought, okay, because where I was, it was $850, everything included, and it was quite a bit small. So I said, yes, that would be an opportunity. We spoke about it. Now, 2 months later, in March, she decided that the rent should be $750, everything included. Now, even though I was against it, I was like, you know what? It's still cheaper than the $850 I was paying. So that's not a problem. Now, April, May, and June, I found out that she started depositing my checks into her account.
As opposed to what?
Opposed to signing them over to LLC Hamilton Management, which is the management office.
You're not on the lease, right?
No,
you guys
no.
aren't. And you guys have no agreement with the management office that runs the actual property.
No.
Your agreement is entirely with her?
Yes.
Okay. But the way it had been working out up to then was that the checks were being deposited.
They were being deposited. I would sign over the checks.
Who would you write the check to?
I didn't write it out to anyone.
So you wouldn't write out the payee, you just write out the amount?
Exactly, because we had made the agreement that she was going to sign them over to the management office. I never had any reason to doubt that she wasn't using that money.
Okay, so what ends up happening?
Well, as I decided that I wanted to move out because I had asked her for certain things like to fix the oven, asked the landlord about fixing the oven, because the oven smelled like gas and there was only 2 pallets working. And she was like, okay, she's going to do it, but that never got done. And I was like, you know what? We're going to end up leaving anyway, because that was the whole point, to save up money. Now, when I called the bank in May of 23, the bank office told me that she had been signing the checks in her name. So I texted her and I asked her, I said,
what possessed you to call the bank?
Because we were at a restaurant and I wanted to make sure there was enough money in my account. And my girlfriend had told me that she had seen her packing stuff little by little.
Okay, so you had a suspicion.
Yes.
Because you had seen her packing stuff that she might be leaving.
Exactly.
And she had not told you she was leaving?
No,
Okay.
she had not told me. And little by little.
So what kind of agreement did you guys have about how long this roommate relationship would last, or house?
Until one of us decided, because we both knew that we were going to leave, until one of us decided that we would give the other the 30-day notice as agreed.
All right. So you see her packing some stuff up, so that makes you nervous, and then?
Exactly. So when I call the bank, they tell me, well, she's been cashing the check, depositing them into her account. So I merely asked her, I said, could you just let me know proof that since you know that you were still signing them over? Because she told me the reason she did that was because the landlord and her were in negotiations with the increase in rent.
She says you ended up in negotiations with the landlord. What was that about?
Well, during the time that they were staying there, the lease went up. So we were going to negotiate a new lease, and he wanted
The lease
to
didn't
increase
go
the
up.
rent.
The lease was over with, you mean?
In March,
Okay.
the lease was over.
So did they raise the rent?
He wanted to increase the rent by $200 to $300.
Okay.
I never ended up signing a new lease.
Okay.
I ended up leaving before.
Okay. Now, when they moved in, were they paying $600?
Right.
And then that changed to $750. Why?
Right. Well, originally when they moved in, I charged them $600. I charged them as if they were one person. And as time went on, I decided, you know what? It's two people. You're both working. I feel as though you should be paying more because...
Okay, so you guys renegotiate and everybody's fine with that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the checks aren't going into the LLC, to the management company, they're going into your account.
Right.
So she doesn't like that.
Right.
Because she feels like you're pocketing the rent money. Okay,
Right.
so my first question is, were you pocketing the rent money?
Of course not.
Okay.
She's still living there up until now, so how would that be possible?
So what was it that happened? She's giving you the money and then you're just writing the whole check out of your account?
Originally, she was giving me a check, like she stated. I was only filling out the two-part, and I was mailing her check alongside mine. Now, when the lease ended and we were...
So obviously the landlord knew you had a roommate.
Right.
Okay.
So when the lease ended and I was in the process of negotiating a new lease, I called the landlord and I told him that it was just me at that time.
Why, to try to get the money down?
Yes.
So you lied to the landlord
Yes.
in order to try to get the rent more
Yes.
reasonable. Okay, because otherwise the landlord would pull what you pulled, which is, there's 3 people, everybody's working, so the rent has to go up. Okay, so go ahead.
I decided it would be better if I just mailed a check directly from only me.
Yeah.
Made sense.
Right.
So I started doing that. And I never told her about it. I didn't think it was such a big deal.
You don't think of it as any of her business.
Right.
She's paying you rent.
Right.
She's getting
paying
what she
me.
bargained for.
She
She's
lives
getting
there.
to live there, so what's the problem?
I didn't think anything
Out
of
of
it.
curiosity, do you happen to have the canceled checks that show that you paid rent in April, May, or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you end up filing a lawsuit to do what? Didn't you live there in April? What months are you suing for?
No, April, May, and June because...
Didn't you live there April, May, and June?
No, I did. We lived there up until yesterday when we moved because we
Exactly.
finally found
So
a place.
why should you get rent back whether or not she's given the rent to the landlord or not?
No,
Apparently
because
she's going to show me that now, but why do you get rent back if you lived there? Why,
No,
how are
and
you
that's-
not
that-
getting the benefit of exactly what you bargained for? You bargained for a place that you pay $750 for, and you got it. So what right do you have to then come over here? It's sort of like saying, let's say I'm your landlord, and I have a mortgage to pay. And then one fine day you say, prove to me you're paying your mortgage, landlord. I don't think you're paying the bank. Now, if it turns out that because I'm not paying the bank, it gets foreclosed on, you end up having to be put out. You have to pay for a hotel. You get all of a sudden something happens to you didn't bargain for.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Would you trust your rent money to your roommate to give that to the landlord?
Yes, I would.
Why would you?
I think because if you're living with them, you've got to trust them.
Leap of faith. Got
Yes.
your point. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you. You've got to.
You would?
Trust them.
Would you trust him?
No,
Oh, good. The youngest person here wouldn't trust. I love your cynicism. Why?
because it's my money and I want to make sure it gets there. Good hands.
And you don't know the roommate enough to trust your money with him, right?
If I met him off Craigslist, then no.
Okay, well, I get your point. Going inside the courtroom.
You ended up giving them 30 days notice, right?
Exactly.
And there's no dispute about that she texted you and gave you 30
No,
days
she
notice.
gave me the 30-day notice June 3rd. June 5th, she moved out.
Had you paid June?
June is off my security deposit.
What was your security deposit?
My original security deposit when I moved in,
Yeah.
$950, which covers her $750. And whatever I owe to
How
my
much is
landlord,
the
not
total
her.
rent?
1,020,
$1,020. And then she was paying $750, or they
Right.
were paying $750?
including all utilities. She was giving me $750.
Okay. Now, did they pay June?
Yeah,
Yes.
she paid
yes.
June.
Okay. June 3rd, she notifies you, consider this my 30-day notice. And what you're saying is it's not a full 30 days.
Yeah, June 5th, she moved out, which meant that in May, she already knew that in June she'd be moving out. So basically, my whole purpose...
How did that? I thought you guys were friends. Like, how did things get so nasty? What happened?
I guess ever since I increased it, I was having problems with them ever since then.
Who were the two? You two were friends? Come on up. What was it that happened that sent this in a spiral breakdown?
Hi, Your Honor. About February, I received a job through a friend of hers, and the gentleman decided to hire me instead of her. Because of medical problems that I have, I'm no longer working there, but all the issues started from February. That's why the increase of the
You both
rent.
applied for the same job?
No, he needed a girl to come and work for him at his liquor store. And she and I both went, and he looked at both of us and he said he needed only one, not two. She couldn't work that day. He opted for me to work, and I was working there up until April.
Was she the one who was applying for the job?
She called me to tell me that he needed a girl and she thought of me because the money.
Well, then why would that be the reason why she's mad at you?
Because he hired me instead of her.
But what are you talking about? Why did she bring you? She said, you just finished saying that she said to you she thought of you.
Yeah, no, she did, but the money wasn't sufficient. She wanted for us to split the days during the week. I work 3 and she works 2. Then the next week, vice versa. That's how she wanted to do it. Now, when I spoke with the owner of the business, I let him know what she had in her mind and what it was that she wanted. Now, he told me he only needed one girl to work 5 days a week. He opted to hire me. He didn't pick her. She started feeling that, okay, she was not working at that present time. I was working, so was my girlfriend. We were both working. That's when the rent increase came to the $750.
Okay, but you guys could have left then and you didn't.
Understandable.
You figured you'd stick around until you found something better, and then
Right.
you did. So what if you got to live there April, May, and June? Okay, and in fact, what ended up happening? You didn't say that because you couldn't absorb the entire rent.
No, everything was fine with the rent. I didn't have a problem paying her for it because, like I said, it was $100 less. What I wanted to know was, like I told her, why couldn't you tell me that you were signing the checks over? All you had to tell me was that. Now,
but that's your big beef, and you don't have a right to have a beef on that because
which is understandable. But when I told her in June, she tells me, okay, negotiations fell through June 3rd. I'm moving. I said, fine. We have 30 days from now to start looking because she's going to be leaving.
But you would have had to pay July rent too.
Yes.
You did end up finding something else.
No, we did. We ended up last week.
So you're not really out. Are you out anything because she told you June 3rd instead of May 28th? Like, are you out anything? See, in order to win money in court, you have to be out something. And that's where we're having the disconnect. Let's assume she violated a 30-day agreement that you guys have, because you both agree that you had that agreement. If she did, then what are you out as a result of?
Well, just the $750. I just wanted to make sure that she did.
Which $750?
I guess the one for June because.
But you lived there in June. You left. If you left before June was out, it wasn't because of the landlord. You just found another place and moved, right?
Because she just said that she used the money that she was using was towards the rent.
She said the money
insurance.
she put down as a security deposit went for her part of the rent. And actually, I guess the landlord's going to keep it.
Right.
So actually pay more than what she pays in rent. And that's between her and the landlord. That you don't get a credit for or anything. You don't get use of that. So I don't count that against anybody. But you did not get evicted. You lived there in June. The landlord's not chasing you for her part of the rent. The landlord has no agreement with you. You're not out anything. So therefore, my verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Just hold on right there.
See what the plaintiff has to say coming out here. Step on right in here. Seems like you had nothing to sue for, really.
Well, I just wanted to make sure, even if it took me to come to court for her to prove that she used my money towards the rent, that's all that counted because she hadn't told me before.
Okay.
So either way, for me, it's a win-win situation because I got what I needed.
Now you're satisfied that money did go toward rent.
Yeah, exactly. It was never really about the money.
Why did the friendship that the three of you had have to break up over this?
Well, that's all her
That
fault.
job thing is
It was really the job thing.
That's all that went down that broke up a big friendship?
Yeah, and it really hurts because I always thought of her as family.
You think that's what she's going to say when I ask her?
Right now, I don't care. I really don't.
All right. You head right down this way. All right, come on in here. The job. All right, step right over here. You win your case. Congratulations. But hey, step up a little more. The job, is that why this whole friendship broke? What happened?
Definitely not. It was the money, basically.
Now, this was a good friendship until that,
was.
right? Until that. And a friendship just falls apart completely because of this $100.
I guess.
It's kind of hard it doesn't make sense, you know?
Right. Sad.
Harvey?
Okay, it's simple fact. If you are trying to sue somebody, you got to prove your out-of-pocket money. If you can't prove damages, you get no damages. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.